for my walk today. I think it's week 10, maybe 12. I'll have to check. Losing time. Beautiful day today. Gorgeous, gorgeous day. We've hardly had any snow this summer, or this winter. I think we've had 3 small and then 1 big one last week. But other than that, hardly any snow at all, which I love, but gonna lead to some fire hazards this summer if we don't get any moisture. But beautiful to get out. Been thinking a lot this week about how easy it is to go back to old habits, even when the new habits make you feel amazing. I've felt nothing but amazing since I started this journey, and yet it's just so easy to go back to the old habits for some reason. I guess they just get so ingrained. I don't know. Or it's easier. The new ones still feel not set, I guess, or not truly ingrained as a habit yet. Just not sure, but so frustrating to know that as good as you feel and as amazing as the changes are, your body still wants to, or your brain, I guess, go back to the old stuff. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good week. I'm loving my walks lately. Just nice to get out. Been learning this week about The Pleasure Trap. It's a book by Helen Goldhammer and Doug Lisle, and Dr. Goldhammer is a medical doctor and Dr. Lisle is a psychologist, and they say that our brains are set and made to seek pleasure in the easiest possible way. So I'm wondering if that's what I was talking about earlier, about going back to the old stuff and still craving the bad stuff, the high calorie, high density foods that I know are bad for me and make me feel bad, and yet I still want to go back to them. So I'm reading their book. I'll let you know a little bit later how that goes. Hi everybody, welcome. So today is day 71 out of my 100-day challenge. Sorry about the washer, it's going. Which is just unreal to me, it's gone so fast. So 70 days into my 100-day challenge that I set on December 16th, I believe. And the goals were to lose 10% of my body weight, to do that by eating a 50-50 plate, and I'll show that above. Also to work on switching my diet from just a plant-based to a Mediterranean diet. And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about that. And then learn about calorie density. My second goal was to sleep 7 to 8 hours, at least 6 out of 7 nights or 5 out of 7 nights. And that was a big feat to try to tackle because I'm terrible about my sleep. I also wanted to increase my hydration, so I set a goal for myself to drink at least 46 ounces of water while I'm still at work, and then that will allow me to meet the rest of my goals. So that was a big challenge as well. And then to walk 30 minutes a day for at least 5 out of the 7 days of the week. So those were my original goals. I am down 15.5 pounds now. So to meet my 10% goal, I need to lose 12 more pounds. So I'm still hoping to do that. Still got 30 days to do that. I've been averaging about 2 pounds a week up until just a couple of weeks ago. Went down to 1 pound a week. And so I need to go back to the calorie density training that I was looking into and look at reducing my calories. Now with the calorie density, what I've learned is that it's reducing the calorie density of your food, but not decreasing the amount that you're eating. So you're still getting full, but you're using starches and vegetables, beans, tofu, things like that, lentils, to bulk up the food. So you're still eating the same amount of food, so you don't feel restricted, you don't feel deprived. The calorie density of your plates is lower. And so I've been working on that, and I'll show you some pictures here a little while of the food that I ate this week. Looking at the 50-50 plates, I've also noticed that taking pictures of my food, as silly as that might be, is really helping me stay on track. If I know I have to take a picture of it, that sort of gives me some motivation to still meet that goal. The 2 things that I've struggled with in the last 2 weeks since my last video were my sleep. For this past week, let's see, I have a log sheet that I log everything on. For this past week, I only slept 7 to 8 hours, 3 out of those 7 nights. I've been terrible this week about it for some reason, staying up way late, reading my book or doing whatever, and I've got to get back on track because I've noticed that I make a lot better decisions. I'm feeling better the next morning if I'm getting enough sleep, and so the struggle is much better if I'm sleeping. So didn't do so terrifically well on that. Also my walking, my goal was to walk 5 out of 7 days, and for this past week I only met that goal for the 7 nights, 7 days. So I got to get back on track with that. The 50-50 challenge, 50-50 plate challenge, I did 5 out of 7 days, and my water intake was much better at 6 out of 7 days. And the silly thing is with the water, because the last video that I did, I was really struggling that week with drinking enough water. And one of the things that I noticed is that my desk is kind of an L-shaped desk. My water bottle was always sitting way over here. And I just thought, well, you know, just take it and put it in front of you, which is just the silliest little thing to change. But when I have it in my eyesight, I am drinking more. So just little things like that. And one of the things that I've been learning about this week that I mentioned on my video when I was walking this week is that I am rereading a book that I read a couple of years ago, I think, called The Pleasure Trap. And it's by Dr. Lisle and Dr. Goldhammer. And what that talks about is that we are predestined, our bodies are, our brains are, around looking for, seeking pleasure is what just mammals do, what animals do, while still conserving energy. So getting your needs met, whatever that might be, with the least amount of energy expended, is what that book is about. But in particular around eating, they talk a lot about the fact that willpower and motivation they just go away when you have and you're in an environment that makes it so much easier to grab the highest density, the snack stuff, the takeout food, if that's easy for you in your environment, the way that you have it structured, then you're of course going to go that route because it's easier, less energy expended, and high density, calorie density foods. And so they talk a lot about structuring your environment to make it easier to have things on hand that you can eat that are on track for you and your eating plan, whatever that is, with the least amount of energy. They talk some about the, I think that's in, it's called HALT. If you're too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, your motivation and your willpower just go out the window. And so keeping your environment very structured so that you have things on hand that are quick, that are, you know, satisfactory to what you like to eat, that taste good, you're much more likely to reach for those rather than to go back to. And so one of the things that I've been learning about this week, or relearning, is that that's what I've done. I've allowed my environment to be structured in a way that it's easier for me to go get takeout on the way home from work. It's easier for me to have and eat frozen meals or boxed meals, or you know, things that are just easy to throw together because I don't like to cook. And I've got to stick with my plan to prep my meals, prep my starches, prep my vegetables, have those on hand, and really do a lot with my environment. So my goal this coming week is to go through all of my cabinets, and I'll film that. Get rid of the processed food, any junk food that I might have, anything that would be easy for me to grab that's not on the Mediterranean way of eating plan, and try to structure my environment so that it's easier for me to do the things that I know are working. One of the frustrations too is how easy it is to go back to the old ways of doing it. And I talked about that in the last video, how disappointing it is that I was working so hard, I was so motivated, and the same thing that has always happened to me, in that after a few days of that, then I go back to the old stuff so easily. Sometimes almost in an unconscious way, where I don't even think about it, and all of a sudden I'm stopping to get takeout, or I'm getting on the phone to order for delivery, or I'm looking through the cabinets to snack on something rather than doing the meal prep and you know, doing the things that I know that I need to do. And the same thing along the lines of the sleep issue, when in that HALT acronym for hungry, too hungry, too lonely, too tired, and too angry, and I'm not feeling angry or anything like that, but when I'm tired, I don't make good choices, and I know that for myself. So this coming week, I'm really going to work on structuring my environment to make that easier. Some of the little things too, like the walking, for example, my door to my extra bedroom where I have my walking pad is broken, and so to keep the dog out of there and to keep my cats out of that room, I have put something in front of the door to keep it closed, which again sounds like something really silly, but it's a barrier for me to get from here to there. And so when I think about going into walk, for example, I'm just thinking, oh, I have to move all that stuff. So I've got to get that out of there. So I called a handyman on Friday to get over here to help me fix the door. So, you know, just little things like that, structuring your environment to make it easy for you to do the things that you know are going to be good for you, and harder to do the other things. One of the things I talked about last video too was to log what I had been spending on takeout food, for example. That was really eye-opening. You know, when you're spending a huge amount of money on takeout or DoorDash or you know, fast food or something like that, not only is it terrible for your weight and your body, but it's hugely expensive. And just seeing that visual, when I wrote it all down, you know, it's just mind-boggling how you know, $20 here, $30 here, going out to lunch here adds up to such a huge amount of money. that I could be putting towards my retirement, or I could be spending on my kids, or I could, you know, the things that I should be spending the money on rather than food. I don't need that in my life anymore. And so seeing it laid out on paper was very, very helpful. And I'm hoping that my mind will still remember that when I'm thinking about stopping at the, you know, to get takeout on the way home from work, which is a terrible habit that I've had. So, you know, that feeling of being disappointed or frustrated in wanting to revert back to the old stuff, I think, unless I'm reading more than I should into the book, the Pleasure Trap book, really is talking about how that's just how your brain is structured. You're going to go to the easiest thing, the highest density food, because that's what your brain is seeking. And so structuring your environment is so important. So that's my goal for this coming week. Let's see what else. Looking at my notes here, I think that's it. One of the things that I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks is walking outside. The weather has been really nice, so I've been able to do that more. That is motivating to me. I do enjoy that. It's sort of a great thing for my mind, just kind of clears my mind. And so I want to be, or I'm hoping to be able to continue that. We've had a very low snow year this year in Wyoming, and so being able to do that, I noticed that my tulips are already coming up this year, so I hope that will help motivate me to stay on my walking plan. I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again for the update. Again, I'm going to share some of my food plates with you, and then maybe a couple of pictures of the pets around the house. And then next week I'll be filming creating a structured, clean environment. So look forward to that too. So thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you found this helpful at all, or if you related to what I'm talking about, please think about subscribing. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and to come back, and also to help me push out some content to the other viewers. And I just really look forward to having you next week. Thanks so much. This is a lunch. It's a tortilla with beans and salsa on it, some edamame. This is fried rice, more edamame, and some grilled shrimp. This is my breakfast, oatmeal with berries and walnuts. Baked potato, ranch beans, and corn. Had a little broccoli, so added that. This is baked potato with tofu and some plant-based cheese. This was eggplant, parmesan, nectarines, corn, and a little bit of pasta. This is a snack at work, a handful of pistachios and a banana. This was rice, tofu, plant-based cheese, and green beans. And now I'm making a soup. It's the Toscano soup. It's kind of like the one at Olive Garden. My kids are coming over today, and my daughter and I are both plant-based, but my son is not. But he does like this soup when I put in the Impossible plant-based sausage, spicy sausage. So I'm going to make this for all of us today. I'm starting with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to saute some onions and some garlic. Get those looking good, and then we'll add the other ingredients. Some onions from my garden that I put in the freezer. Just about half a cup or so. Add a couple of cloves of minced garlic here in just a minute, after the onions have a chance to start getting translucent. Cut up some leafy greens, and then we'll add the other ingredients. Got some veggie broth, gnocchi. Spinach is best in this, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using some dark leafy greens. This is the minced garlic that I'm getting ready to add to the pan with the onions. I'm now going to add 6 cups of veggie broth. I use the Better Than Bouillon concentrate that you can put and keep in the fridge. Now I'm going to add the spices, garlic powder, flake salt, red pepper flakes, and pepper, about a tablespoon each to start. Now I'm going to start browning the Impossible plant-based sausage. This is extra spicy and it's really, really good. You just brown it up just like you would ground beef or other kind of sausage, and then add it to the soup as well. Now I'm going to blend up some unsalted cashews that have been soaking in water, and I'm going to add some water to the blender and just blend those up. That makes a really nice creamy substitute for milk or heavy cream, and there's no taste to it. You can add salt or garlic salt if you wish to, but it's just a really nice substitute for adding any dairy. This is what it looks like when it's all blended up. You just add it in like you would milk or heavy cream. Sausage is coming along now. This is such an easy soup and it only takes about 20 minutes or so to cook. You can let it cook longer and simmer if you want to, but just a few ingredients, throw it all in, and it tastes so yummy. Great comfort food. Okay, I just added the cashew cream. We'll just let this simmer for a few minutes and we'll get ready to add the gnocchi. Okay, smelling really good. Now the last thing to add are the greens, the cut up greens. Again, normally I would be using spinach, but these greens are going to be just fine. Just takes them a few minutes to wilt. And then I'll add in the Parmesan cheese and let it simmer for another 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then it will be ready. And the soup is now ready. I wish you guys could smell this soup. It smells so yummy. You can add sliced potatoes or chunked up potatoes if you like. And the kids will be here soon and we'll have an amazing lunch.